it's all truth, based on some people say they're lies, but it's mostly truth. So Ellen DeGeneres, who is the famous host of the Ellen Show on NBC, she had a very rough pandemic season. She had a very rough summer in which a lot of her employees came out and said that she supported and was a part of a toxic work environment on the Ellen Show, including producers, including other staffers, including Ellen herself. So there was a lot of back and forth on social media, people making allegations about her producers being mean, some of them being racist, some of them being misogynistic. There were various clips and videos shown of Ellen in which she allegedly was mean to guests. The one that got me the most was, she was kind of mean to my girl Mariah Carey. So Mariah Carey had just had a miscarriage
Oh no.
a couple of months prior, showed up on Ellen's show and thought she was pregnant, and Ellen like basically was like, okay, prove to us that you're not pregnant, because Mariah was not ready to announce her pregnancy. So she was like, okay, drink this alcohol to prove that you're not pregnant. And so it was a lot of kind of mean girl stuff. And I didn't really watch the Ellen Show. Did you all panel?
Yeah.
Did you watch?
Hmm.
You
Funny
were
to me.
fans.
I like
You were
Ellen show.
mean. You think I'm mean, but you thought Ellen was okay, right?
I mean, I thought she was joking, but I
Mm.
mean, that's her type.
Mm.
That's the way that's her humor. Her humor
And
is
that's
kind of
why
a degrading humor.
I
She's
don't
a
like comedians.
She is a
Um,
sarcastic comedian. It's
Yeah.
her way of that was her claim to fame. That is her medium.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's her
and
type of humor.
And that's why I
Mhm.
don't like comedians, because I don't think everything is a joke. And I don't think you have to outwardly be mean to people under the guise of, ha 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 ha, it's all funny. But there were a lot of allegations. And, she was taken to task in the media, in the public, especially on social media. So she came back from this, very tough summer and spring for her. With her first show since pre-pandemic. She came back on Monday and she gave an apology
I have a video of that
to which,
if you want it.
oh, please give it.
As you may have heard, this summer there were allegations of a toxic work environment at our show. And then there was an investigation. I learned that things happened here that never should have happened. I take that very seriously, and I want to say I am so sorry to the people who were affected. I know that I'm in a position of privilege and power, and I realize that with that comes responsibility, and I take responsibility for what happens at my show.
So my question to you all on the panel is, do you think that, one, this was an appropriate apology? And two, will you still be watching the Ellen Show?
Let's
Who
start
wants to
with
go?
East. He's been kind of quiet.
Uh, was the apology appropriate? I guess so. I mean, this doesn't surprise me. I mean, I just think that when people get to a certain level, there's a certain level of a-holeness that they have where they're just kind of aloof and kind of separated from the others. So I'm not surprised that this occurred. I'm a little surprised that she was not able to properly insulate herself from these allegations get out to the point where he had such negative press, because she's generated much positive press over the last like decade and a half. It just kind of exploded on her.
Right.
So yeah, I'm not surprised. And I was a big fan of her giving away stuff, because she seemed to give away money to people who were less fortunate. But outside of that, I don't care about the show. So it's not going to move me either way.
All right.
Rob, is Ellen popular in Canada?
Sure. I really don't know what her rating numbers are in Canada. I find her amusing. I can't say that I tune into the show religiously or anything, but if I catch snippets here and there online, she's usually pretty funny and on topic. Was the apology necessary, or was the apology appropriate? The apology was presented to her fan base. So she was presenting her feelings about the situation. This wasn't an apology to her staff. This was a public comment to the fans. And whether, and I think she did the best that she could with it. She's a comedian. It was awkward. You didn't have fans in the actual studio, you had TV screens up. It was a very different type of thing. So I would imagine that it would have been very awkward for someone to do their first show like that. And she is a comedian, so she made a couple little jokes that maybe shouldn't have been there, but it's a coping mechanism for sure. The real thing for me, and it's none of my business, is now how is she going to go back and run the show? How is she going to be with the staff and the people? I know that there was a promotion. Her DJ is now an associate producer or an executive producer. So that's all part of the show. It's all part of the entertainment thing. You know, when Christian Bale berated someone on set, he came out and had an apology. Was the apology enough? I didn't care about his apology in the media. How did he deal with the person that he hurt, that he verbally assaulted? It's none of my business. I hope that she's being genuine, and I hope that she's going to restructure her management style and that of her organization.
My thoughts
Yeah.
are so I thought the apology was reasonable. I mean, there's only so much you can say. I mean, in terms of words, but it really comes down to the actions ultimately. And Rob was alluding to that. It really comes down to what she does moving forward. So I mean, it was necessary, needed to hear the apology, to acknowledge that she was responsible, even if it wasn't. Uh, Again, I don't know that I mean, people are people. I mean, to some degree, some people can be rude at times. People can be moody. People can be indirect, sarcastic. All of these things. So that is normal to be human. But with that being said, you know, she apologized, um, and she's got to fix the other issues that are unrelated to her specifically, because and then she could have created some of the toxic work culture herself. That's unclear whether or not she was the reason for it, or whether or not it was just part of the culture, or if she was unaware. That's all not clear. But the buck stops with her, and we just got to see. I just hope there's action going forward to improve it. But I like Ellen.
I mean, very quickly for me, one, again, I don't really like comedians, but I watch Ellen in certain scenarios. The most I watched Ellen was for her Halloween haunted house show every year. Love that, where she would have her producer go in and be scared, the bejesus, the Beyblade scared out of him. Love that. For me personally, I think one, we can't expect people to apologize without accepting their apology. So if we're not going to accept people's apologies, then let's just do away with apologies. And I agree with Rob and Neo here. Like, if she's apologizing to her, in addition to the public, if she's apologizing to her staff, then I'm all for it. Um, I just want people to understand, like, if your name is on the door, then you are responsible for both the good and the bad. And so whatever happens, it all falls on you. Point blank. So hopefully October 31st, I'm gonna see a haunted house on Ellen and be able to laugh my ASS
uh,
off again.
So close.
Almost got her. All right, so a few comments online. Let's see what we got here. I'm shocked. Allegations. This is from Marjorie. Oh, by the way, East, can you get the scoreboard together while we're going over this? I'm shocked the allegations only because Ellen has a reputation for being nice. I'm saddened that someone that I want thought of as being nice is not nice. I won't be watching the Ellen show. And added, oh, and then Rupka says, and added, China did it. Marjorie says accountability. Mike Wolf says, doesn't matter in the apology, it matters how people are treated going forward. Rupka says, bye, Ellen, go away. I will not watch her show. Mike Winter says, he could have pulled a Trump and said she takes no responsibility. So, all right. So